Hello everyone, this is the part 2 of our session. This is all about analyzing the effects of the graph of the quadratic function. Halina't matuto! For this session, the most essential learning competency that we will be achieving at the end of the lesson is analyzes the effect of changing the values of a, h, and k in the equation y is equal to a times x minus h quantity squared plus k of quadratic function on its graph. If you are ready, let us begin. To help you learn the effects of changing the values of a, h, and k in the graph of the quadratic functions, please be guided with this video tutorial by Gabay Turo, D&E's Edu Corner.
Everyone, welcome to D&E's Edu Corner and welcome sa ating tutorial about the effects of changing the values of a, h, and k in the graphs of quadratic functions. Ang isang parabola or ang graph ng quadratic function ay maaaring magkaroon ng iba't ibang transformations depende sa value ng a, h, and k. Maaaring ito ay mag-opens upward or downward, narrows or widens, moves to the left or to the right, vertical translation, at maaari rin itong magkaroon ng horizontal translation. Now let's have our first example. Y is equal to x squared, and this is the simplest form of a quadratic function. Ito ang graph ng y is equal to x squared. At kung mapapansin natin, ang kanyang vertex ay nasa 0, 0. Ang graph na ito ay tinatawag ring parent graph. So that's y is equal to x squared. Now let's have the graph of y is equal to ax squared. I-observe natin ang changes kapag ang value ng a ay nagbabago. So in this example, ilalagay natin yung ating y is equal to x squared or yung parent graph natin. Okay, so ito ang kanyang graph. So when a is positive, ang parabola natin will open upward. And in this example, so y is equal to x squared, ang a natin ay 1 which is greater than 0 or positive. That's why the parabola opens upward. Now let's have another example. Sa function y is equal to negative x squared, ang a natin dito ay equal to negative 1, which is a negative number. So kapag ang a ay negative, the parabola opens downward. So this is the graph of y is equal to negative x squared. So yung graph ng y is equal to x squared ay nagkaroon ng reflection below x-axis. Okay? So again, kapag ang a is negative, the parabola opens downward. Okay, next. Another important thing sa value ng a, let's say y is equal to ax squared, when the absolute value of a is greater than 1, or kapag ang absolute value ng a ay mas malaki sa 1, the parabola appears narrower, or yung parabola natin ay mas lumalapit dito sa y-axis. Let's have an example. So we have y is equal to x squared. This is our parent graph, and a is equal to 1. So this is the graph. What if we have y is equal to 2x squared? So yung a natin dito is equal to 2, which is greater than 1. Yung absolute value ng 2 is greater than 1, so the parabola appears narrower or mas malapit sa y-axis. Ito ang graph ng ating function na y is equal to 2x squared. Another example. What if we have y is equal to 1/2 x squared? The value of a here is 1/2. And ito yung graph ng ating given function na y is equal to 1/2 x squared. So what happened? Ang absolute value ng 1/2 is 1/2. And kapag ang absolute value ng a ay mas malaki sa 0 pero mas maliit sa 1, ang parabola appears wider. Since ang absolute value ng a dito sa ating function na y is equal to 1/2 x squared ay mas maliit sa 1 pero mas malaki sa 0, ang kanyang graph ay wider or mas malayo sa y-axis. So, observe natin. Dito, ang a natin ay 2. Mas malapit siya sa y-axis or narrower. Kapag naman ang a ay greater than 0 pero mas maliit sa 1 kagaya ng 1/2, ang ating graph ay wider or mas lalayo siya sa y-axis. And remember na ang a natin dito sa ating mga given function ay positive kaya the parabolas open upward. Now let's have more examples. What if the value of a is a negative? Okay, so we have y is equal to negative x squared, a is equal to negative 1. Since negative 1 yan, the parabola opens downward. At kunin natin yung absolute value ng negative 1, which is 1. Okay, so ito yung ating magiging graph. Now, paano kapag ang function ay y is equal to negative 2x squared? Since a is negative, the parabola opens downward and absolute value ng negative 2 is 2. That means, mula dito sa graph na ito, ang ating parabola ay mas na-narrow. Okay? Lalapit sa y-axis. So, tandaan, ang kinukuha natin dito ay absolute value ng negative 2 para malaman kung wider or narrower. So, ito ay narrower than the graph of y is equal to negative x squared. Our last example is y is equal to negative 1/2 x squared. Again, we have a negative value of a. So, expect natin na ang ating parabola ay downward ang opening. And, kunin natin ang absolute value ng negative 1/2 which is 1/2. Ang 1/2 ay mas malaki sa 0 pero mas maliit sa 1. Kaya naman, ang kanyang graph ay magiging wider. So those are the effects of changing the values of a sa graphs ng quadratic functions. Now let's observe the effects of changing the value of k sa graph ng isang quadratic function. So kapag ganito ang equation ng quadratic function, y is equal to ax squared plus k, when k is greater than 0, okay, that means kapag ang k natin ay positive, ang movement ng parabola ay upward. On the other hand, kapag ang k naman ay negative, ang movement ng ating parabola ay downward. Let's have an example. Ilagay muna natin ulit sa ating graph yung parent graph natin na y is equal to x squared. I-observe natin kung ano yung mangyayari sa graph nito kapag mayroon na tayong value ng k. So in this quadratic function, the value of k is 0, kaya wala pa tayong movement na upward or downward. Ang ating given quadratic function ay y is equal to x squared plus 2. So what will happen? So from this graph, since positive ang ating k, ito ang mangyayari. Ayan ang graph ng y is equal to x squared plus 2. What happened? From this graph, okay, since we have here x squared, y is equal to x squared, and then may k tayo which is equal to 2, nag-move upward ang ating parabola. How many units ang movement? We have 1, 2. 2 units upward kasi ang k is a positive value. We have k is equal to 2. What if we have a negative value of k? For example, we have y is equal to x squared minus 2. Ito ang kanyang magiging graph. So, from our parent graph, nagkaroon siya ng movement 2 units pababa. So, we have 1, 2. Since k is equal to negative 2. So, bumaba ang ating parabola ng 2 units. So, yun yung effect ng changing the value of k sa graph ng quadratic function. Now, ano naman kayang effect ng pagbabago ng value ng h sa graph ng quadratic function? Kapag ang equation ng given quadratic function ay y is equal to a times the square of x minus h, ito ang ating kailangan i-consider. Kapag ang h natin ay greater than 0 or positive, ang parabola ay mag-move to the right. Kapag negative ang value ng h, ang parabola natin ay mag-move to the left. So, ilagay muna natin ulit ang ating parent graph para ma-observe natin kung ano ang movement ng ating given quadratic function. So, h is equal to 0 dito sa y is equal to x squared kaya wala pa siyang movement to the left or to the right. Now let's have this quadratic function. Y is equal to quantity x minus 2 squared. Ang a natin dito is 1, so therefore expect natin na ang parabola will open upward. Now ang graph ng ating given function ay ito. Nag-move siya to the right ng 2 units. Bakit? Because h is equal to 2. Dahil dito we have x minus h. Ang h natin, yun yung ating kukuhanin. So bakit positive 2? We have here negative 2. So remember, para hindi kayo nalilito, you just get the opposite sign. Ang h natin ay magiging positive 2. Now, what if we have this quadratic function? Y is equal to the square of x plus 2. What will happen? So, from this parent graph, magkakaroon tayo ng movement na 2 units to the left. Bakit 2 units to the left? Because ang h natin is negative 2. Okay? So, positive siya dito sa ating loob ng binomial. Kapag kinuha natin ang h, kunin natin yung opposite sign which is negative 2. So, yun ang ating mga considerations. Kapag ang h ay positive, ang movement ay to the right. And kapag ang h ay negative, ang movement ay to the left. What if combinations? We have y is equal to a times the square of x minus h plus k. Titignan natin ang magiging movement ng ating parabola kapag nagbago ang value ng a, h, and k. I-apply na natin dito yung mga movements na na-mention kanina. So, ilagay muna natin yung ating parent graph at ito ang ating given. Y is equal to the square of x minus 2 plus 1. So, identify natin isa-isa. Ang a natin dito is positive 1. So, ang ating graph ay mag-open upward. Ang h dito sa ating given ay positive 2. And ang k natin is positive 1. So, let's see. Tingnan natin, di ba? Ang a is 1. So, ang ating graph ay hindi magiging narrower or wider. Since a is equal to 1, kapareho ng sa parent graph. Now, yung movements natin to the left or to the right at saka upward or downward. So, tingnan natin. Ito ang ating magiging graph. Since k is positive 1, move tayo upward ng isang unit. And since h is positive 2, move tayo to the right ng 2 units. Ulit, so we have k, 1 upward, and then 2 units to the right since h is positive 2. Ito na yung graph ng ating quadratic function. So, ang parabola natin ay nag-move 1 unit upward and 2 units to the right. Let's have our last example. Ito ang ating given. Y is equal to 2 times the quantity x plus 1 squared minus 1. Ang a natin ngayon ay positive 2. So, ano kaya ang movement ng ating parabola? We know that it will open upward. Magiging narrower ba siya or wider? Tama. Ang ating parabola will become narrower since 2 is greater than 1. A is equal to 2. So, ang h natin is equal to negative 1 since dito sa ating binomial, positive yung nasa loob. Now, yung k is equal to negative 1. So, ito yung ating magiging graph. Kung mapapansin natin, naging narrower yung ating parabola and nag-move siya 1 unit downward and 1 unit to the left. Kasi ang h natin ay negative 1 at ang k ay negative 1. So, that's it for our tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you subscribe for more tutorials.
After understanding and analyzing the effects of changing the values of a, h, and k in the graph of the quadratic function, let us now do our learning task number 4. I'm going to show you an illustration on how to solve and do your activity. Your task is to illustrate the graph of the following quadratic functions, then analyze the effects from each other. So these are the given. For number 1, we have quadratic function y is equal to 2x squared. Number 2, we have y is equal to 2x squared minus 2. For our 3, we have y is equal to 2x squared plus 2. And fourth, we have y is equal to 2 times x minus 2 quantity squared plus 1. And then we have y is equal to 2 times x plus 2 quantity squared plus 1. So our parent function or parent equation
is y is equal to 2x squared. So let us see what will happen to one another after changing or after adding constant or value of h and k to one another. Now, we're going to plot the graph of each item or each quadratic function in the same coordinate plane. Let me show you how. So this is your first given. We have y is equal to 2x squared. So I'm using color-coded equation or function para alam natin kung sino ba yung kung ano ba yung graph ng quadratic function na ito. Now, first thing to do is, of course, we have to find or identify the table of values. We have to complete the table of values. How? Okay, first, we will begin with our vertex. Finding the vertex kasi yun yung pinaka-center point natin. In finding the vertex of y is equal to 2x squared, we need to find first the values of a, b, and c. A is 2, b is 0, and c is 0. Alam ba kung saan nakuha yan? Alright, sa ating given quadratic function. Ito yung a, And then wala tayong b, wala rin tayong c. So therefore, ito yung values nila. Then after that, we will use the formula in finding the h and k. We have h is equal to negative b over 2a. So substituting the values, we have negative, so that is 0, then 2 times 2. Negative 0, that is 0 over 4, and 0 divided by 4 is equal to 0. Any number, when 0 is divided by any number, the answer is 0. Now, if h is 0, then how about k? So k, following the formula, applying the formula, we have 4ac minus b squared all over 4a. Substituting the values, we have 4 times 2 times 0, then 0 squared all over 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 0 times 0 is equal to 0. 0 squared, 0. 4 times 2, 8. 0 minus 0, 0. Divided by 8, and that is 0. So, meaning to say, our h and k, or our vertex, is 0 and 0. Di ba ang hk naman? That is the ordered pair of our vertex. So, meaning to say, your x-coordinate is 0, your y-coordinate is 0. And if we're going to complete the tables, so, alamin natin yung number next to 0, that is positive 1, positive 2. Kailangan alam muna natin yung value ni x in order to find or identify the values of y. Then, sa left side natin, ano yung mga values below 0? Okay, so these are negative 1 and negative 2. So, kayo na mismo yung mag-a-assign. Kaya tayo yung nag-a-assign ng value ni x. Okay? Kasi dyan nakadepende yung ating y. So, meaning to say, yung x natin ang independent variable. Here, in order to, let us first plot it sa ating Cartesian plane. So, maliwanag ba yung Cartesian plane natin? So, these are the values. So, ang 0, 0, nasaan siya? Alright, so dito siya sa origin. This is the origin. So, we only need to plot the point. That is the vertex, which is equal to 0. Then after that, we need to complete the table. So, unahin natin, how are we going to solve for y? Okay, so that is by substituting the values of x. Kung ang x natin, let us use x is equal to negative 1. Kapag ang x ay negative 1, what would be the value of y? So, dito ulit tayo sa ating equation, y is equal to 2x squared. So, 2 times, substitute lang natin yung negative 1 sa x. So, that would become 2 times negative 1 squared. Negative 1 squared is 1. So, 2 times 1. So, 2 times 1 is equal to 2. So, therefore, if x is negative 1, y is positive 2. Correct. Again, we're going to plot it in our Cartesian plane. Negative 1, 2, nasaan? Negative 1, and then 2. There you go. So, that is our point. Kukuha? Okay, let's move on with negative 2. If x is equal to negative 2, so therefore, substitute ulit natin. Okay, so that would be 2 times negative 2 squared. Negative 2 squared is equal to 4. So 4 times 2, that is 8. So if x is negative 2, y is equal to positive 8. Ayan. So, we have ordered pair natin ay negative 2, 8. Nasaan si negative 2, 8? Negative 2 and positive 8. So, there you go. Ayun po. Magpa-plot lang tayo ng point. Okay? Next is, how about 1? So, dito naman, alam naman natin, di ba, that they are ito yung may axis of symmetry, di ba? Itong graph natin may axis of symmetry. Ibig sabihin, kapag finold natin ito into 1, therefore, makaka-come up tayo ng 2 parts. Na equal to each other or just a reflection of one another. So, ibig sabihin, ang point natin dito sa kabilang side ay naririto at naririto. We don't need to solve this. Kahit hindi na natin substitute yan. Automatic, alam natin, if this is 2, therefore, this is 2. If this is 8, this is 8. Okay? So, yan po yung relation ng ating axis of symmetry. Ganyan po yun. Pero, in order to show you kung talaga bang 2 ito at talaga bang 8 ito, let me show you. Again, i-substitute natin sa value as ating equation or function, x is equal to 1. If x is equal to 1, so therefore, that will become 2 times 1 squared. 1 squared is 1, so therefore, 1 times 2. And 1 times 2 is equal to 2. So, ayun. 2 po yung ating value of y. And the ordered pair is 1, 2. Nasaan si 1, 2? 1, 2. There you go. So, nandiyan po yung ating point. Next, how about if x is equal to 2? Substitute natin. So, we have 2 squared. 2 times 2 or 2 squared, that is 4. 4 times 2, we have 8. If x is 2, then y is equal to 8. So, ito yung ordered pair natin. And that is, saan siya matatagpuan? 2, 8. Ayun. So, we're going to plot the points. Okay? Maliwanag po ba? So, kita nyo na ba? Kahit hindi natin resolve, alam natin kung ano yung, pag nakuha na natin sa left side, alam na natin ang value ng right side. Alright? Now, after that, after plotting the points, we need to connect the points para makuha natin yung to show the parabola or the graph of the quadratic function. And that is, ayan, ganyan po ang itsura. I use red para ma-represent ko yung function ng y is equal to 2x squared. Do you understand? So, this is how your graph will look like. Okay? Our next function is y is equal to 2x squared minus 2. So, how are we going to do this? First, let us set again a table. Then, let us find which is the center point or the vertex of our graph. Now, in order to do that, let us use the formula HK. But before that, we have to find or identify the values of the real numbers. The A, the B, and C. A is equal to 2, B is equal to 0, and C is equal to negative 2. Meron tayong constant term dito. So, negative 2. If you notice, from our original equation, yung y is equal to 2x squared, naging y is equal to 2x squared minus 2. Nadagdagan siya ng constant term. Now, let us find the HK. So, h is equal to negative b is 0. 2 times 8, 2 times 2, 4. So, we have, okay. So, we have 0 divided by 4 is equal to 0. So, h is 0. How about the k? We have 4ac minus b squared minus all over 4a. 4 times 2 times negative 2 minus 0 squared minus 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8 times negative 2. That is negative 16. So, minus 0 all over 8. Negative 16 minus 0 is negative 16 divided by 8. And that is equal to negative 2. So, therefore, your vertex is equal to 0, negative 2. Ang x natin, ang h natin ay 0, so ang x natin ay 0. Ang k natin is negative 2, so the value of y is equal to negative 2. So, we will plot it later. But before that, let us assign first values for x. So, 0, ano yung mga nasa right side ng 0? We have positive 1, positive 2. How about here? Sa left side naman, we have negative 1, negative 2. So, again, i-plot na natin siya. 0, negative 2. Saan natin siya matatagpuan? 0 ang x, ang y ay negative 2. So, therefore, nandito siya. So, this is the plot. So, ginamit ko ay yellow na color para ma-distinguish natin alin yung graph na ating y is equal to 2x squared minus 2. Alright, so after finding the vertex, let us find the y values given that x is negative 1. Let us assign x is equal to negative 1. So, ganun lang din, just like what we did in our number 1. You just need to substitute. Substitute the value of x, which is negative 1. So, that will become 2 times negative 1 squared minus 2. So, negative 1 squared, uunahin muna natin yung nasa parenthesis, ha? Let us apply the PEMDAS rule. Exponent, then, yes, the parenthesis, parentheses, and then the exponent. So we have negative 1 squared, that is positive 1. Negative times negative is positive. So that will become 2 times 1 minus 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. So therefore, if x is negative 1, y is 0. Okay? Next, we have what if x is equal to negative 2? If x is negative 2, substitute lamang natin. Instead of writing x, we will write negative 2. Negative 2 squared, that is 4. So 2 times 4, that is 8. 8 minus 2, correct. We have 6. If our x is negative 2, therefore, the y value is equal to positive 6. Alright, so dito sa ating right side, yung 1 and 2, kahit hindi na natin isolve, kita na natin dito since, again, a parabola is a reflection. Yung axis of symmetry nila ay reflection lamang noong ng other side. So, since ito ang center, ang 0, nandito siya. And then, the 6 ay, alright, nandito siya sa 2, 6. 2, 6, and then 1, 0. Let us plot the points. We have, where is, alright, so nandito siya, 0, negative 2, ito yung vertex natin. Negative 1, 0, nasaan? Negative 1 ang x, ang 0 ang y. Alright, nandito. Next, we have negative 2, 6. Negative 2, 6. Okay, andito siya. Next is 1, 0, 1, 0. Alright, andito siya. Next is 2, 6. 2, 6. Ayan, nandyan po siya. Okay, so after plotting the points, we just need to draw a line or smooth curve following the points of our graph. So that would become, ayan. So, kita nyo ang pagkakaiba? After plotting, after connecting the points, ayan po ang naging itsura ng ating parabola. Again, meron po ditong arrow ha, which means it is extended upward. Next is, before moving on to our next function or quadratic function, let us first analyze this. From our original equation or original function, which is the red one, yung y is equal to 2x squared, what happened after we put negative 3 doon sa ating function na, negative 2 doon sa ating function na y is equal to 2x squared minus 2. So, nagkaroon siya ng minus 2. So, how are we going to analyze it? So, ano nangyari? Ayan po. So, isulat, di ba dyan sa inyong learning task, sa inyong module, sa page 34, meron tayo siyang kailangan nyo, after nyo ma-plot sa same coordinate plane, you will explain what happened. You have to analyze the effects from each other. So, ngayon, simulan ko muna sa yellow. When y is equal to 2x squared becomes y is equal to 2x squared minus 2, nadagdagan siya ng constant na negative 2. What happened to the graph? If you notice, mula dito sa ating vertex, what happened? Ayan. Di ba bumaba? Bumaba siya how many units? 1, 2. Again, let me show you ha. Okay, so this is our vertex. And then what happened to our vertex? Dun sa yellow graph. Ayan. If you notice, bumaba siya ng 2 units. Mula dito, 2 units. So, again, dito naman sa side na to, dito sa point na to. Mula dito sa point, Ayan, bumaba rin siya ng 2 units. How about this one? 1, 2. How about this one? 1, 2, 1, 2. So if you notice, when y is equal to 2x squared becomes y is equal to 2x squared minus 2, nadagdagan ng constant na negative 2, then the graph shift. Pag sinabing shift, it moves. Ano? The graph moves or shift 2 units downward. Pababa siya. And just like what we have learned in the video presented earlier, 'di ba? Dito po nagdedepende sa value ng k if how many units we will move our graph downward or upward. If it is negative, then move siya ng downward. If it is positive, then if the k is positive, then you will move it upward. So how many units? It depends on the numerical value of your k. Since the numerical value is 2, so therefore, you will move the vertex or the point, you will move the point 2 units downward. So that happens. Okay? Next, number 3. Our quadratic function, given quadratic function is y is equal to 2x squared plus 2. So, what happened naman? From negative 2, naging positive 2. Ang naidagdag na constant kay y is equal to 2x squared. So, what are we going to do? Again, let us complete the table, this set of table. Hanapin muna natin si h and k. Okay, so in finding the h and k, let us first identify the real numbers, the a, b, and c. A is 2. How about b? Okay, nawawala yung ating linear term. How about c? That is positive 2. Now, finding the values of the vertex, we have hk. H is equal to negative b over 2a. Substituting the value, we have negative 0 all over 2 times 2, and that is 0 over 4, and that is equal to 0. Our h is 0. How about k? Substituting, we have 2 times 2 times 0 squared, 4 times 2. Correct. 4 times 2 times 2, we have 8 times 2, 16. 16 minus 0, 4 times 2, that is 8. And 16 minus 0 is 16. 16 divided by 8, so our k is equal to 2. Since our vertex is equal to 0, 2, meaning the x coordinate is 0 while y is 2. So that is our vertex, 0, 2. Ngayon, again, to complete this table, let us assign the values for x. Dito sa right side ay 1, 2. Sa left side, we have negative 1 and negative 2. So saan natin mai-plot ang ating 0, 2, yung vertex natin? 0 daw ang x, and then we have 2. Yan, 2 yung ating y. So, nandito siya. You're going to plot the point. So, I used blue color na para ma-distinguish yung kung alin siya. So, this is the vertex of our quadratic function. After finding the vertex, what are we going to do? Yes, we have to complete this set of table of values. Let us begin with negative 1. What if x is equal to negative 1? Y is equal to 2x squared plus 2. We just need to substitute the value. So, magiging, instead of writing x, we have negative 1. Negative 1 squared, that is 1 times 2. Then, 2 times 1, we have 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2, we have 4. So, if x is negative 1, our y value is 4. Correct. So, how are we going to plot it? Negative 1, 4. Nasaan siya? Negative 1 ang ating x. Asan si x? Ito. Ang ating y is 4. Ayun. So, naririto po siya. Ano? Yun po yung plot niya. Next, negative 2. If x is equal to negative 2, then your y is equal to 2x squared plus 2. Substitute natin yung negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. 2 times 4, we have 8. 8 plus 2, we have 10. Therefore, negative 2 ang x. If x is negative 2, y is equal to 10. Alright? Now, asan siya? Negative 2 ang x. Ang y ay 10. Alright. So, andito ito po siya. No? So, you just need to plot it. Next, how about 1 and 2? If x is 1, what is the value of y? Very good. That is 4. Ano? 4 since reflection lang siya. How about this one? Okay, this is 10. Okay, 4, 10. Ganyan lang po ha, ganyan lang. Next, plot na natin. 1, 4. Positive 1 ang x, and then 4 ang y. Alright, so andito siya sa side na to. Next, 2, 10. 2, positive 2 ang x, ang y natin ay 10. Alright, so andito siya. Yan na. Nakompleto na natin yung points. So, let us just connect the points to form the parabola. Let us form a smooth curve. Ayan ang itsura ng ating graph of y is equal to 2x squared plus 2. Did you understand? Alright, so let us begin analyzing the effect after writing or after including the positive 2, changing the value of k. Changing the value of k from positive 2, what happened? Alright, analyze natin yung graph. Mula doon sa ating original, ano nangyari? Ito yung original natin na the red one. Yung mula sa original natin, what happened to the graph? Yan, nag-move siya saan? Ano nangyari sa vertex? Nag-move siya upward. Ano, pataas naman siya. Nag-move upward and then, how many units? 1, 2. So, yun. How about this one? 1, 2. Dito, 1, 2 din pataas. Itong point na to, 1, 2. How about this point? 1, 2. So, lahat ng points ay nag-move 2 units pa saan? Up, downward, or upward? Okay, that is upward. So, kaya po dito sa explanation ko, nilagay ko, while, when it becomes, that it refers to the original, na yung ating parent equation. So, that is y is equal to 2x squared. Becomes y is equal to 2x squared plus 2, or nadagdagan siya ng k, the graph shifts 2 units upward. Pataas naman. So, how can we tell this? So, diba, just like what we have learned in analyzing the graph, the quadratic function, kapag positive ang k, the movement is upward. If the k is negative, the movement is downward. Alright? So, let us have our fourth given. The quadratic function is written in, if you notice, this quadratic function is written in vertex form. No, naka-vertex form na siya. Wherein, we can easily analyze what is the value of h and what is the value of k. Kasi ito ay nasa form na y is equal to a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. So, therefore, kitang-kita nyo na ang vertex. What is the vertex? Ang h ay 2, tama ba? At ang k ay positive 1. Okay, 2 po yun na hindi negative kasi yung ating mismong pattern is equal to y is equal to a times x minus h. Sadya pong minus yung ating pattern. Kaya h is equal to 2, k is equal to 1. Therefore, the vertex is equal to 2, 1. Now, ano nasa right side ng 2? Complete muna natin yung table. We have 2, 3, and then 4. How about sa left side? 2, 1, 0. Ganyan po mag-set ng values ng k, ng x. Then, let us plot 2, 1. Asan si 2, 1? Positive 2 ang x, positive 1 ang y. So, andito po siya. Ayan. I use color violet to represent this function. Now, after plotting the point in our vertex, anong gagawin natin? Kumpletuhin na natin yung values, hanapin na natin yung y coordinates. And that is by substituting the values of x. If x is 1, what is the value of y? I-substitute lang natin dito sa original. Instead of writing x, ito i-write natin ay 1. So, ganyan po ang itsura. Then, perform the operation inside the parenthesis, applying the PEMDAS rule. 1 minus 2, that is negative 1. Then, exponent tayo, negative 1 squared, that is positive 1. And 2 times 1, we have 2. 2 plus 1, we have 3. Therefore, if x is 1, our y value is equal to 3. Yan. So, i-plot natin. 1, 3. Positive 1. And then, positive 3. So, andito po siya. Ayun. Positive 1, positive 3. Then, after that, how about the when x is 0. If x is 0, what is the value of y? Isulat natin to 0. So 0 minus 2. 0 minus 2, we have negative 2. Negative 2 squared, we have 4. 4 times 2, we have 8. 8 plus 1, we have 9. So therefore, if the value of x is 0, y is positive 9. So dito, i-plot ulit natin. We have 0, 9. 0, 9. Alright. So, dito po siya. I-plot na natin. Next. So, 3 naman. Ano po ang function? Ano po yung y value ni 3? Alright. So, that is 3 and 9. I-plot natin. 3, 3. Asan si 3? 3. Ayun. Andito po si 3, 3. Next is 4 over 9. 4 ang x, ang 9 ay y. Nasaan siya? Ayun. Andito siya. Okay? Let us form the graph. Ayan. So, ganyan po ang itsura. What happened naman? What do you notice in our graph? So, mula dun sa original natin, dito sa ating red one, what happened to the graph? If you will notice, our graph, mula dito sa original, it moves 1, 2. It moves to the right. How many times? Okay, it moves 2 times. Again, papakita ko ulit sa inyo, ha? Okay. So, mula dito sa original, it moves 1, 2, dalawa pa kanan, 2 to the right, at ilan pataas? Ayun. 1 to the, 1 upward. Again, 1, 2 to the right, and 1 to the, 1 upward. So, ganun din ba dito? 1, 2, 1. Dito, 1, 2, 1. So, dito sa point na to, 1, 2, 1. How about this point? 1, 2, 1. So, ganun po yung pattern ng ating movement or shifting ng ating graph from the original equation or function. Therefore, we can say that when the function becomes y is equal to 2 times x minus 2 quantity squared plus 1, the graph shifts 2 units to the right and 1 unit upward. Tama ba? Yes. Na-verify na natin yan. 2 units to the right, 1 unit upward. So, sa palagay ninyo, kagaya ng pinag-aralan natin, i-recall natin, kailan siya nag-move to the right? Yes, kapag po ang value ng h ay positive. Since the value of h is positive, kasi ang value ng h natin dito is 2. Tama? If the value of h is positive, it will move to the right. How many units? Depende po sa numerical value nung ating h. Since ito ay 2, 2 units to the right. How about upward? Okay, how many units? 1. 1 upward. Bakit po 1? Kasi ang value ng bakit po upward? Kasi yung value ng k natin is a positive number. So, ibig sabihin pala, ang k, it shows the movement upward or downward. While yung ating h, it determines the movement from right to left. Kapag right, we have positive. Kapag left, we have negative. Alright, so the graph shifts 2 units to the right and 1 unit upward. And lastly, for our equation, number 5, y is equal to 2 times x minus 2 quantity squared minus 1. So, ano yung nagbago? Ang nagbago ay ito, yung sign nitong ating h and also yung sign ng ating k. So, let us first find the vertex. Ang vertex natin, h is, correct, that is h is equal to 2 and then k is equal to negative 1. Here, we have 2, we have negative 1. What about if this is positive 2? Anong value ng h? Correct. Ang value ng h will become negative 2. Okay, since ang given natin dito ay 2, okay, ito na yung gamitin natin. Now, so that would be our, yes, that would be our vertex. Asan si 2, negative 1? Okay, so dito 3, 4, dito 1, 2. 2, negative 1. 2, negative 1. Okay, andi dito po siya. No? Yun, 2, negative 1. How about the 1? If x is 1, okay, substitute natin. If x is 1, 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2, negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 1, we have positive 1. If x is 1, we have y is 1. 1, 1, 1, 1. Ayun, andun po siya. 1, 1. Next. How about if the value of 0? We have substitute natin. 0 minus 2, negative 2. Negative 2 squared, we have positive 4. 4 times 2, we have 8 minus 1, we have 7. If x is 0, y is 7. X is 0, y is 7. Ayun, andito siya. No? Kasi ang x natin ay 0. Next is 3. Ano po, okay, ano yung value ng 3? We have 1. How about yung 4? 7. 3, 1, 4, 7. 3, 1, 3, 1. Ayun, andoon. How about 4, 7? This one. Alright, so let us plot the points. Ayun. Then, see what happened. From our original, ano nangyari? Ayun. So, let us have our analyzation. So, this is the closer look of our graph. Ano, para mas kitang-kita natin. If you're going to explain it, if the function becomes y is equal to 2 times x minus 2 quantity squared minus 1, the graph shifts 2 units to the left. Tama ba? To the left ba? 2 units to the left? Oh, no. 2 units to the right. And 1 unit downward. Mula dito, 1, 2, then 1. 1, 2, 2 units to the right, and 1 unit to the left. 2 units to the right, 1, 2, 1 unit to the, 1 unit downward. Again, 2 units to the right, and 1 unit downward. 2 units to the right, 1 unit downward. 2 units to the right, and 1 unit downward. Okay, so ganun po yan. So, ito na yung isusulat ninyo sa inyong explanation. When, ayan. Hanggang dito sa ating last function. Alright? So, sana naunawaan mabuti. And I hope you already know what would happen if we change the values of a, h, and k in our equation, especially in our original function or yung parent function or parent equation natin. As for your task, on your learning task number 4, it is your turn to illustrate the graph of the following quadratic functions and then analyze the effects from each other. So, mula doon sa 1 up to number 5, gagawin nyo yan. Same coordinate plane lang din. Kagaya nung ginawa natin. Ano? Dito sa isang coordinate plane, dyan nyo ilalagay lahat, ika-graph lahat. Ano? But, pakigawa na lang din, ano, kagaya nung ginawa ko, use different colors to illustrate the different function. Para kita natin talaga yung shifting. Kita natin yung pagkakaiba-iba ng movements. Para madali nating ma-analyze. So, that's it. I hope malaki yung naitulong ng video na to in order for you to answer all your learning tasks in this week. Nasang week na ba tayo? Week 7. So, that is how, or that is the graphing quadratic function as well as analyzing the effects on its graph.
Much, my dear students, for being with me in this session. I hope you learned a lot. Again, this is me, your Mom Shay, your guide in learning Mathematics 9 during the modular distance learning. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.